Welcome to part 2, where we left off was we had just finished cutting out all of our materials. Now before we start the sewing process, if there's anything you want to add to the outside of the bag, now is the time to do it. Just make sure it's not too close to the edge. Now the process for the straps is a little tedious, and since I used the waistband, I'm following that seam and ironing it flat, then folding it over and giving it another press. Now for the stitching, we're going to get as close to the edge as possible without being on the edge. Or you could use a zigzag stitch. Your strap should be placed between the lining and the top lining and should be 5 inches away from the edge. And we're going to stitch them together at 5/8 of an inch. Then we're going to give it a good top stitch. For the pockets, you're going to fold the fabric in half and sew each side together, leaving a 3-inch opening. That opening is so we can flip the pocket right side out. This is your practice round for the lining. Then we're going to stitch along the entire top edge. Then we're going to place our completed pocket between the straps and stitch it to the lining. Once our lining is complete, with right sides facing, we're going to pin our lining to our outer fabric and stitch along the top at 5/8 of an inch. Next, we have to line up our seams from the top and outer fabric. On that bottom fold, we're going to create a 3x3-inch square. We're going to cut out that square on all 4 corners of the bag. We are then going to pin the entire outer perimeter, but on one side, we're going to leave a 5-inch opening so we're able to flip our bag right side out. We're going to stitch our outer perimeter at 5/8 of an inch, excluding the opening in the 4 corners that we cut out. And if you stitch those openings down by accident, it's fine. Just take the seam apart. Once the outer perimeter is sewn down, we're going to line up the 3x3-inch squares that we cut out and stitch them down. And we have reached the stressful part. And I say that because if you don't do this carefully, you will rip your seams. So take your time on this part. I have this time lapsed. This took like 5 minutes. Once our bag is turned right side out, we're going to pin that opening closed and stitch it down. Our bag has almost reached completion. Now we just need to do a top stitch. Our straps will be stitched down with the top stitch. And here we have our finished upcycled tote bag. And if you made your straps too long like me, it's now a crossbody tote bag. Now the one I made has a fly pocket on the front, and I have an obsession with pockets. I just like being able to put all my things in different places. Plus it's also a good way to utilize all the elements of the pair of pants I used. But enough about mine. I want to see the ones y'all make if y'all use this tutorial. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments.